What up, everybody? It's your man Danelle, aka Small Guy Promotions, aka Omaha Fatty, coming to you with another podcast episode of What's Up, Omaha. Of course, a big topic of conversation recently has been coronavirus um, and all the people that it's impacted and affected worldwide. Um, you know, there's a ton of negatives, millions or however many people could be affected in the long run. But still currently, there's been thousands of people who have died. We just had a few confirmed cases in Nebraska, two actually, not a few, but two cases. It it's spreading. People are trying to practice safe distancing and staying at home, uh, work from home, things like that, uh, which is cool. A lot of the focus is often on the negative. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the positives that have come. You know, some are just personally, and some are just as a community that I've witnessed and seen. But there's positives also, and one of those positives is community. So a lot of people have been hit hard as far as work goes. Um, the restaurant business, a lot of people have had to close down, and I like to eat, so that's something that I pay attention to. And uh, a lot of restaurants have just closed down because they weren't able to sustain enough business or to figure out a way to make it work. Um, but there are some businesses, some restaurant owners that are actually doing really well. They've gone to curbside or to go or carry out or delivery as options to feed people, and it seems to be working for them. Some days are actually busier than the days that they would have normally when they had people dining into their restaurants. So uh, that's a big positive. I know my friends, last week we had John from Golden Bowl on. He has had some of those days. Actually, last night for dinner, we called one place, Starsky's Bar and Grill, and they had to close down because they had so many orders coming in. And when I called, the guy was like, I've been here since they opened the kitchen here, and it's never been like this. It's crazy. So that's good to see. We ended up going to Grecian Euros yesterday, and as I was in there picking up my food, Julie, the owner, was telling me that Friday night there was someone who had come over and got a couple of meals, like $20 worth of food, and dropped $100 bill in the tip jar. And they had just come from La Mesa next door, and they had some drinks over there, and they had also tipped $100 over there. So you're hearing stories of people out there doing good things to help other people, um, which is great. There's a lot of industries impacted. I'm not sure what's going on with all the other mom and pop shops that have had to close. I know, my wife is a cosmetologist and massage therapist. Salons have been ordered to close until April 30th. So, I don't know what cosmetologists are doing to get by. Um, Fortunately enough for us, I'm able to work from home, and I can work overtime, so that's not a big deal. But I know people are out there trying to do different things to make a way and make income and survive through this struggle right now. So hopefully, after this month goes by, the curve will be flattened or whatever, a lot more, and people can get back to normalcy. But yeah, community has really been a good thing. Even when you go out, I've seen working from home, a lot of people out walking and jogging. Uh, that's good to see. People are waving, hey neighbor. So that's always cool. I mean, sometimes you talk to people anyway, just like slightly, but it feels a little different. You can tell that people are sometimes more excited to see someone, probably because they've been cooped in their house all day for however many days. Um, yeah, man. So community is a really good thing. I like to see what's going on right now in a lot of cases. Next, one of the other positives that I see is, you know, violence. I personally thought that violence was going to be on the rise because people were bored and didn't have anything to do. But it seems like it. I'm sure crime is still happening and violence is still happening. But I couldn't tell you the last time I heard anything about a war or people dying due to like war violence. War related deaths. The military over in different countries because everybody's trying to be quarantined. So people are dying of natural causes. So hopefully people are valuing life a little more. It's so easy to die of just worldly events, natural disasters, whatever, illnesses, viruses like coronavirus. Uh, but man makes it even easier because we do things that cause death. Um, but I feel like I haven't heard a lot of stories about people dying due to violence. So that's of course a positive. That's a good thing. Um, Maybe people are actually staying in when they can. So that's cool. Another thing that I have seen, especially with technology and platforms like TikTok, their creativity that people are displaying. You get bored, you got to figure out something to do. So a lot of times, what do? You pick up your phone, you have an idea maybe that you wouldn't have actually acted out or done whatever with in the past, but you're actually picking up your phone and making that come to life. Being at home and having the kids here, they're getting assignments sent home from school, and they have a schedule that they kind of abide by. Seeing the girls being able to figure out what they want to do to be creative for like art type of class. They painted the other day. My oldest is always doing some kind of cooking to, I can't remember what they call it now. It's not home ec anymore. It's something else, but she's been doing things to stay up with that. My youngest, she has been spending time with her Lego friends, and she actually has created something. She's got her little corner of the living room where she does work, and we're not necessarily paying attention to her, but we can always hear the Lego pieces rifling around in her little tote. And I went over and looked the other day, and it was pretty cool. She had like a stable with a horse in it, and had these like it looked like castle walls and stuff. That was cool to see. You always get a little. You're proud when you see your kid do something that's cool. Um, so yeah, the creativity. I expect to see a lot of new things coming, or new trends, or new inventions because of all this time cooped up and the mind wandering and trying to do something different. Another thing would be for me personally, and maybe some other people feel the same. Maybe they don't. It's the opposite. I could see the opposite. But just being at home in general, being with the family, working is not as much of a drag because I feel like I'm not really at work. Well, because I'm not physically at work. I'm at home, but I'm still doing work on my computer. It's just a different feel to it, and if you've listened, you know that I don't really like my job, and I don't like the way that things are run. So, um, I me feeling like this is actually buying me time, because I was ready to like quit. I was ready to be out. Like I was like, I can't stay here anymore. But this working from home, it's bought me some time, especially since I hadn't heard back from any of the places that well, I hadn't heard back in the form of getting an interview or a call back or anything of the few places that I've applied at. So it's bought me some time, and actually we have overtime, and the overtime is double pay, so I'm working overtime like crazy. Probably gonna take the day off today because I worked some or yesterday, but you know, that's another positive for me. And it's a different feeling completely when I'm in my dining room working and I can see my wife and see my kids and I'm not away from them. So that's definitely an added bonus for me. I know sometimes in a a small space, it's easy to get on one another's nerves, but we haven't had that much of that going on. Not too much. We've had a little with the kids. The wife and I are cool. We don't we haven't had any issues. Uh, but yeah, man, it's really good. So I like that part of it. The next thing would be slowing down. Like life is so busy and so hectic at times, we're being forced to slow down. And when we slow down, maybe we take a little more time to realize that certain things aren't uh, as much of an issue or as big of a problem as we thought initially. Um, and we have a different perspective on things and what really matters and what really doesn't matter. A lot of times we just get so caught up in, we don't invest as much as we should possibly in certain areas of life. And this gives us a time to actually take a step back and prioritize a little better. So I feel like that's a good thing. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people may be doing during this time. Because what else can you do when you're forced to stay in your home? You start to think about things a little more. You become more conscious about things, and um, you know, just more thoughtful. I feel like so. I mean, you can only do so much watching TV and gaming or whatever it is that you're doing to pass the time. So that thought provoking environment is really cool. Um, and then being grateful when you're stuck in the house and maybe I mean, we haven't had this issue, but you see all these people buying up all the toilet paper and whatever else, and you can't go out to see a friend or you can't go out to eat. Just the simple things in life that you normally take for granted. Um, Hopefully, it helps you be a little more grateful about how good of a situation you are actually in under normal circumstances. Um, so that's just another thing to be cognizant of, and you know, if you don't normally have a lot of struggle in life, maybe it helps you understand or think about other people and be empathetic towards what other people are going through. And some people are struggling every day of life, not just now because of the coronavirus and being stuck at home. There's people that struggle every day, and maybe we could be, maybe in the past we as human beings have been judgmental of others going through struggle, and I know people are still being judgmental now. I mean, I'm not above that. I in certain circumstances have been judgmental as well. Not necessarily of people doing, like, being in bad situations and struggling, but just overall in life. So maybe we can be more empathetic, man, and put ourselves in other people's shoes more often, and realize that it's not all about us and the world doesn't revolve around us. There's a lot more going on outside of the walls of your home and outside of the circle that you belong to. There's bigger issues a lot of times going on in the world, and you know you don't have to think about it all the time, but it's nice to take some time here and there to think about others. So those are just some of the positives that I have witnessed, that I have seen as a part of this social distancing and quarantine. uh, there's a lot of good out there. There's still a lot of good people out there. There's a lot of uh, people trying to help others, and that's great to see. So, yes, coronavirus is bad, but there are positives that can be found in the situation, and I'm happy to see that, and I hope you are too. So that's all I have to say about that right now. I hope you guys are safe and practicing your safe distancing. I know it was hard for me at first. I was like, I'm not changing anything. But like now, I'm like, nah, it's real serious. I'm not gonna be hard headed. I'm gonna practice safe distancing, and the hardest thing is not being able to go to jujitsu every day. So hopefully we can get back to that soon. And as far as working from home, shoot, man, I hope my job says I never have to come back. That would be all right by me. That would be okay. I would stay at home and work. That's fine. Uh, but you guys, please stay safe. Remember to do the important things that people have been talking about, which I personally think you should have been doing already anyway. Washing your hands. I can't believe you have to tell adults to do that. Sneezing in, your arm. Like a lot of times when I sneeze, I'll, do it there. Try to make sure nothing gets out. Sanitize. Just don't be gross, man. Don't be touching all over, licking on your fingers and touching on stuff and, high-fiving people, wiping your booty hole and not washing your hands. I mean, just be smart. Don't be gross. Coughing out. Be coughing all your germs out in the air. Like, cover that up too. Whatever you got to do to cough, be smart about it, man. And together, hopefully we can, make a difference with this. And please think about all the people that are out there, they call them, essential. All the emergency response folks, the first responders, all of the people that work in like grocery stores and things like that. Please be aware of how your actions impact others. Just try to be nicer and try to be smart about what you're doing. And let's get through it together. That's what it is, man. Smile helps someone else smile. Laugh and help someone else laugh all day, every day. Peace out, y'all. Yeah.